Sterring, picture them important. Is Sterring, they're like Sterring.
Hey, I'm Kunta.
And I'm Peta.
Welcome to Black Sterring Radio, a podcast where we dissect TV shows, films, music, and culture
To ask how black women are represented and seen on screen. Do an
Action!
Hey.
Hello, Pink. And it goes with the
with the lights
with
at the
the
back.
lights. Yeah, it's like
I do like wearing pink.
yeah, pink is
It feels
wonderful.
cliche,
Pink is
but I think pink might be one of my favorite colors.
it is one of those colors that are very gendered, and
Yeah.
it's like pink for the girl,
like
blue for
stop.
the boy. But pink
Yeah,
is
but
gorgeous.
I really
Pink
like
is
pink.
gorgeous.
It's fun.
It is.
It
It's
still feels
Barbie.
fun
It is
at my big age, which is cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Top of the morning.
Really is top of the morning. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
alright.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm enjoying the weather. It's just interestingly I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the fact that
Are you one of those
in
we
winter,
love winter
no, but it's not
people?
cold at all. I don't mind winter. I don't mind winter at all.
Okay.
But it doesn't feel cold in the during the day. But temperature
no,
drops so
After
badly
5, you're
at
you're
night.
done for.
It drops here. I'm like, what? Yeah.
bad.
But
Yeah.
weather's all right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. We're talking right now about comics and how it must be to be a comic. Shout out to the comics. Like I know
Yes.
that podcast with all the famous comics in South Africa.
Mhm.
What's it called again? I forget. PNC.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pharaoh, and
Yes.
it's hilarious. It's actually they're so funny,
I
know.
need to check it out properly.
Yeah. They're funny. They really are. But
Okay. Which it makes sense because I've never thought to listen to a comics podcast, but now I'm like,
I love comic
Of
podcasts.
course.
Hey, I love them.
because
That's
they're
why I'm
good at
like,
storytelling as part of the gig.
yeah,
So, of course it
absolutely.
makes
If you're a
sense, yeah.
comic, do that. Get a podcast. And I mean, in the States, it's quite like in New York, and it's quite like a circuit. And there are really some of my favorite comics are on those circuits. And I think what's her name, Rosebud Baker. She does a bit with her husband Andy. They're both comics. They are so hilarious. They are just. I love comics.
I love that.
Should we get into content?
Yes, let's
Yeah.
get into content.
What's yours?
Oh, okay, I'm going first. You know what?
You
Top of
wanna?
mind. I'm gonna shout out Weekly Touch Up. So
Yeah,
it is basically every Wednesday. It is a great space for alternative music in South Africa. They just crossed 100 weeks of doing
Oh,
it, which is really cool.
Wow. And you said it
Um,
started at Barber, hey?
Yeah, so it started at Barber Black Sheep, everyone's
Wow.
favorite, not so much barbershop by day, but
but
a place to go to by
dive
night.
at night. Yeah.
Yeah, so it started at Barber, really a space to hear some live music
Yeah.
quite intimately.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to see a lot of local artists. They always have new people, whether it's strictly alternative or indie or
Yeah.
R&B or jazz. So yesterday, it was started by Luansta, who is a hip hop artist as well, and then among other people as well as a drummer, and he also has a band of his own.
Yeah.
Utebucho, and like just a collective of people. I think the company is called Normal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But really cool concept. Really cool way to throw people together and like create a consistent space to hear live music. So yesterday they did a documentary about the 100 weeks and the journey of where they've been.
Interesting.
And then
So they've documented.
Yeah, so they've documented it. It's up on YouTube, and then Babel whom performed. So they're like a new group. And then amongst other people, he's like been a festival drummer, everything from Afropunk to Opie to like Rocking the Daisies to
nice.
everything. So I think it was my first time hearing him and his band. Like very jazzy, really nice. Yeah, it was really cool.
And is it like a new band, or does he drum on his own usually? Or
I think so. He usually drums with other people, but now it's almost like him forming his own
thing.
Yeah, to create a project that's on the way, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like a place for. I wonder how you get on if you're an artist. Can you just?
I think you can honestly just DM
to be
them.
like, yeah, can I just try my
I don't
stuff?
think they've made it like difficult
to be on there because
which is nice. So I've seen everyone from like Filalala to like there was a duo doing like black people doing country music to like
I love that.
Yeah, to like indie, to like the singer-songwriters like Wandile Mbambeni, to like, just like a huge range of people, Chipego, Shikana, like, they've been like small up-and-coming people and then like a little bit bigger people. Yeah. But it's a cool place. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's really cool to go. So if you're on a Wednesday, go to
everywhere.
Mama Kashaka.
Okay.
And Mama Kashaka and Friends. Sorry, the name is escaping me.
Yeah.
Yes. Every Wednesday. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that space is so like experimental. Such a nice art thing that they're doing there. Like it's so open to all. Because I remember going there for a Girls in Film. Like it was a reading. Ooh, cool. Yeah, it was a nice reading of like some upcoming scripts from writers. So you get to read and see if you get like a good sort of like take from the audience or a response from the audience, which I thought was really great, really great.
They really do switch that space up. It's interesting because they've decided to have a dry bar throughout winter.
Dry bar?
Yeah, like no.
Oh wow!
So even yesterday, people are like,
interesting. Why?
Oh,
what's behind that?
I don't know what the reason is.
No.
But even going to get like a Coke or coffee or whatever, a lot of people are like, so gahle utwala, like you guys are really not
hectic. And you know, South Africans, we just need a dope. We just need a dope to survive.
Because people are like, tough week. Yeah,
that's so interesting. I wonder what's behind that. That's hectic.
I think from what they said, that like they'll be back fully functioning in September. I think is what the comms were. Oh. Yeah, so pretty interesting. So hence some people going next door to Kitchener.
Yeah, Kitcheners will never do that.
Glass of something.
Yeah, dope. Okay,
because Kitcheners won't do that.
Yeah, Kitcheners runs on a dope. Yeah.
But what's your content?
Yeah. Okay, mine is a bit of a long story. Okay, so it is basically sort of who owns what in art spaces, right? So there's been this case going on with the Woza Sisi Collective and Trevor Sterman.
Let's talk about that.
So Woza Sisi is a femme-led collective started by Dahlia, who is a photographer. Shout out Market Photo Workshop. She started this documentary project where she was documenting, you know, the power that women have in informal spaces. So basically like, you know, labo, mama laba, aba, you know, that do people's hair in town. So it's located and set in town, in informal spaces in town where they're selling, or it's mostly beauty, the idea of women in these spaces, foregrounding beauty, because like, it's also so wonderful, like the fact that women will always find a way to do the beauty thing. We just have that power, you know, like in those spaces, you have hair shops, you have people, right? You know, there's like a kinky outside, and then you have people doing the hair, you know. So she documented that whole series in 2012, and then in 2023, she collaborated with curators. I actually want to name them.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah. So Kilebogile Sylvia Khodisang, Dahlia Maubani, who is the founder, Fulufelo Mobadi, Bongiwe Parati, shout out, Fiona, Davana Simpiwe, Julia Tabete. Hope I pronounced everyone's names correctly. So they're the collective of curators and artists who then put out a publication and an exhibition called Your Beauty is My Concern. 2023.
Great title. Yes.
Wonderful. Incredible. So where they were extending the work of like documenting hair processes, braiding, that whole beautiful archive.
And for us, hair is like ritual.
Dude,
it's such a sacred
it
space
is such
for us
an
as
important,
women,
such a sacred freaking
especially
space.
as Black women.
Yeah.
Like that is.
And
we all grew up in
we
and through
understand
salons,
it.
or like even going to auntie's house to get your hair.
We understand the essence of it,
Beautiful.
the meaning of it, and it's such a beautiful body of work. And there's a publication out. So, not so fast forward to this year. Trevor Sterman, you all know him. He's got a gallery, and he's a photographer.
Yeah.
He's a well-known photographer, doing really well in the sort of highbrow art circuits. Your selling art, your sort of, and it's always the debate around, original art that originates in the city, people, and then moving it to spaces where it is commodified, and moving it up to the burbs like your Rosebanks and your Keys, as opposed to Newtown and town. So he's a Keys type of artist. He's
First Thursdays on Keys is very different to what First Thursdays was in
Brom, right?
Yeah.
So he then has an exhibition in Cape Town, I believe. Yeah, and the First Thursdays in Cape Town is also just it's a job. Yeah. He calls his exhibition "Your Beauty Is Our Concern," which what's going on, So the girls are like, no.
Upset.
Rightfully
so.
Rightfully so. Like you stole, and apparently I haven't seen the exhibition, Trevor Sturmer's exhibition, but apparently the work is very similar. The themes are similar. It's the female sort of, it's subject, female, object, sort of subject, female, beauty, photographed, I guess, by Trevor Sturman and whomever. And so, there's an ongoing case around the stealing of their intellectual property, their name, and it's such an important conversation to have, because again, who owns what? Like, it is definitely like something to like, who owns what?
Yeah.
But this feels blatant.
The title
this
of the
feels
exhibition
blatant.
Is not great.
This feels blatant.
Even from there.
Yeah.
Before even getting into the work. To change one word is like, come on.
And it's happening at the same time. It's happening concurrently with their work. So it's like, and it is these people, it's the same thing that happens on TikTok or on social media with people who have a large following, with influencers who are huge celebrities, just appropriating the work of, or the ideas of smaller influencers. And this is the same.
And then they get the credit.
Yeah, and they get the credit, and they don't, And
for me, it's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
But more tough because a lot of us have been in, just by virtue of being in creative spaces, and engaging with different kinds of people, and just the power dynamic sometimes in the celebrity and influencer of it all, and the clout of it all, versus being someone smaller, less award-winning, less well-known.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And awards are such an agenda around that,
So it's weird. So, I mean, I can talk about, like, even in an advertising context, it happens in a lot of spaces where...
In the studio?
A lot of our ideas have been stolen, to be honest, to be frank. And it's very volatile. It's very disheartening. It feels very...
silencing.
It's tough because... a lot of us have been through it, where like you'll have an idea and it feels cool, and then either your idea is shut down or not taken seriously, and then a week later the language has changed and it's a bit mansplained back to you. Mansplained what you said 2 weeks before, but they've cracked the brief or whatever the case is. So it's quite unfortunately familiar is what I felt.
It's
that
really...
like this again, like how many times are we gonna keep doing this, or like how many times
is this
frank women and femme bodies have to bear the brunt of this,
their work being,
because it
absolutely
is
appropriated like, and stolen. It's like, and it happens a lot in the creative space, because again creative spaces so don't have regulation. And it's just, culture vultures coming in to just, set themselves up as authorities because they have money, they have, connections, they're in a particular network, moving in a particular LSM, making it like easier for them. I don't know, so I'm glad though that there is legal recourse and there is a case going on because your fave, guys. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that there is an archive. There is there are years of work.
Yeah.
So that there is an actual case here. It's not. It's you can't sit and say, hey, we had this body of work. We had this idea. No, we like Waza Sisi has been going.
Yeah.
It's been going. Me too. I hope they win. And they're hoping to get like money for their legal. So you better just at least pay for their illegal. Yeah. Anyways.
Back a buddy, guys. But yes.
Back a buddy. Hey. Hey. But
so
check that out. And please.
That whole thing.
It's just, it's not okay, bro.
It's not okay.
And why is it always get me in? Guys, what's going on?
It's not great. Genuinely, it's not great.
Why are we fighting? What is this gender war about, bro?
Unfortunately, sometimes there are too few of us as women at the top. So it makes
all the time.
Easier.
That's just all the time.
So it's like
100%
it makes
of the time.
it easier.
Yeah.
To get away with
nonsense. Yeah.
Because it will be like 2 women versus like 8 men or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yo, it's an uphill battle.
But good luck and Pambili. Slutu Pambili. Yes. Okay, let's get into today's show.
Yo. Sorry. That made me so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get into today.
Yeah,
No, but it's a necessary conversation though, because
absolutely.
Genuinely WTF. And I know you mentioned gender war, which
it's happening.
I don't know what's going on. Things are weird.
Things are.
That's all. Like
bizarre.
Things are really weird.
Things are bizarre today.
Things are super weird.
Yeah.
I want to say weirder than they may have ever been, debatably.
Yeah.
Or maybe just because we have cameras to see the weird.
Yeah.
Could also be that.
And we have voices now. We have voices. Women can speak. They can speak and they feel empowered. There is that.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Nice.
It's more like, the question, which we'll segue into what we're talking about.
Yay!
When people always say, like, if you could be in any era, what era would you be in or like want to live in? And I'll never forget somebody saying today, because as a Black woman, we've made the most progress. Like the more history goes, the better it is for us.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't romanticize the 20s or the 50s.
Absolutely.
Because that was not fun for us.
And I mean, definitely those, we are here because, lots of women, lots of our moms and our grandmas, great grandmas and activists, they did this.
Yeah.
They really did, hey?
They
for
pushed.
us to be speaking on these mics, saying fuck, talking about Blackness, speaking the truth,
Yeah.
Winnie Mandela did this for us, guys. She did.
Literally.
Shout out mama, But
Yeah, okay, and that will segue us into today's topic, which is a film set in the 30s, the critically acclaimed, what I hope to be award-winning, should be award-winning film.
Yeah, it will be.
I think it will be. Directed by Ryan Coogler.
Listen.
Today we are talking about Sinners.
Sinners, guys.
Woo!
Everyone is like, wow.
Okay, first thoughts.
Wow.
What were your, let's get into like first thoughts of the movie.
Oh, wow. Okay, so horror flick.
Yes.
Gory detail.
Very gory.
Vampires. Vampires.
Yes.
Outstanding acting. Michael
Very good acting.
Michael
that
B.
might be some
Jordan.
Of his best work.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't know about him.
And I just want to say, right?
Can I
I
say
feel
that?
like absolutely. This is what I'm moving into, is that he is getting better and better, guys.
He is.
He is getting. I was
He
like,
is.
listen, MBJ, like this is a wonderful. This is wonderful. This is, you keep growing.
Yes.
You keep growing. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
your
so.
thoughts.
It felt so like. I got to see it in IMAX, which was really cool. So
yes.
Ryan Coogler did a segment with Kodak where he was explaining the ways that he made the film and the different formats that they shot it in, that they shot it specifically for IMAX. So it was a very, changing a 14-minute, it doesn't even feel, you know when you hear people talk about craft and their art and the time kind of flies by. So he was like, if you can, see it in IMAX.
Absolutely.
And I haven't been to IMAX, I want to say, in years.
Yeah.
But we were like, okay,
Experience.
let's just
Experience
go
it
see.
the way it was meant.
Yeah. And it was I love watching movies where it's a full house.
Yeah.
And like, there are a lot of us in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was explosive. It made me feel, I had so many thoughts.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was laughing. I was
Terrifying,
anxious.
hey?
Yeah, it was terrifying. So you go through all the motions of a horror.
Yeah.
I was intrigued as well because I grew up with a lot of vampire content, which I do want to talk about
Yes,
because
absolutely.
did you know that vampire
influence.
movies are actually an economic indicator?
Okay.
So, research has been done that the biggest vampire movies have come out in the midst or after economic crisis. So Dracula first came out after the Wall Street crash.
Wow.
Movies like Frankenstein, Twilight, there was the other so it's always like the economic crisis comes alongside a big
what the
vampire
relationship is
epic
there.
film. Yeah, which is like
the end of
so
times?
some of it feels like the end of time.
Yeah.
Some of it, somebody said it feels like the idea of immortality that vampires have, and like the economic crisis or like being stretched. Everyone feels like
we're dying.
What's gonna happen to us? We're dying.
We're literally dying.
Yeah, whereas they have eternal life.
And I love a vampire.
So part of it is
I
that.
really do love a
Yeah,
vampire.
and
like
everything
Dracula,
from
like all of
Blade,
it. Like, yes,
True Blood, to Vampire
Zorro.
Diaries.
Do you remember Zorro?
Oh,
like, listen, Zorro was a thing.
Yeah, to like Twilight. I was so into Twilight.
Was
like,
amazing. Was an era to behold.
Yeah, honestly, like I've really liked vampires. So what I was intrigued about, because I went in not knowing much.
And
to be honest,
these are my favorite vampires ever.
I don't know. I went in not knowing that much.
Yeah.
So all I knew was vampires. I didn't even know Michael B. Jordan was a twin. And the thing.
Yeah,
so I just went in knowing who the actors were, seeing the trailer a few months back, and then knowing vampires and Ryan Coogler. And what I was intrigued about was what part of the vampire tropes he was going to take. Because vampires, there's different things. So
there's
whether it is
symbolism
the religion, the contrast of religion, whether it was going to be you have to be invited in, how they get killed.
What are the rules?
Garlic?
How do vampires go?
Do they burn in the sun? Will they glitter like in Twilight? So I was intrigued about what rules he was going to use, because they've been
features
we've
of
gotten so many
vampirism.
different kinds of a vampire. You know, like even Blade was.
Yeah.
You know, like so I was like,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And then so much happened.
So much happened
in the movie,
right?
So it's set in the 30s in the Mississippi Delta.
Yes. October 1930, whatever. And it happens all in a day. I love it again.
I love that.
The 15th to the 16th of October.
Everything is in a day.
And the twins,
Smoke and
Stag.
Yes.
More coming back from Chicago. So this is this is an era. This is this is
post. So we're in the post-prohibition era.
Yeah. This is like
we're starting Jim Crow.
Era.
So it's a little bit post-Gatsby.
Yeah.
We are in the thick of Jim Crow, a lot of racial tension, a lot of racial segregation.
Yeah, there definitely is that.
World War I has just happened. So both of them were soldiers in World War I.
Yes, they're
when
soldiers.
They come back
they
from Chicago.
Soldiers.
They've been gone for 7 years.
Yeah.
And they are back. They have a lot of liquor. They have a lot of hooch with them.
And they have a game plan. They want to start up a juke joint.
Yeah.
A music dive. Make money. Also just get it going.
Yeah.
I think. They're also trying to clean some cash because they did a crime somewhere
because
down the line.
All of that alcohol they have. So they basically put the Irish mob and the Italian mob against one another. They stole alcohol from them both. And those two mobs are fighting back in Chicago about who took whose alcohol. Yeah. So they also have all these bottles of Irish beer and imported what. So they want to open up this juke joint, and before all of that, they are also cousins to Sammy.
Sammy.
So we start in the church.
Yeah, and I just
Which
want
is
to shout
interesting.
out Saul Williams, who is a poet, who is Jedidah, who's the dad.
Yes.
Who's the pastor at the
Yes.
church, Sammy's dad.
Yes.
And he's preaching, but love a crazy start, like a dramatic start.
Oof.
Sammy, we start at the end, basically.
Yeah.
We start with
I
Sammy
love when they do that.
driving
And
in. Just mucked out, looking disheveled, looking bloody.
There's a cut on his face.
Opens the church door. That's
Like the banging of the door.
Yeah, that
everyone's
image.
wearing white
Yes,
as
everyone
well.
wearing white
because
in the church.
Teen were in church, were dressed up.
And
The
here
broken
this
guitar
figure, yeah,
as well in
the
his
dad
hand.
is like, let it go,
Let the guitar go,
let it
Sammy.
go.
Yeah.
And I definitely love bringing music. Oh, I love the storyline. I love it's such a juicy storyline, like bringing music into it and the hoodooism of it as well, the witchcraft of it, which I love witchcraft.
Yes.
And so he comes in and he is holding like the remains of a guitar.
Yeah.
That he got from
His cousin.
his cousins, you know, and the story
Smoke estate,
around where the guitar came from is always interesting.
Yes.
You know, but we meet Sammy walking into church. He's disheveled. His dad is like, you know, hey, welcome back, like, and let go of this life of sin as a musician.
So that's kind of where we bring in the idea of sin and how he calls it the devil's music.
Yeah.
Right. And
Dancing with the
there's
devil.
always been this conflict of secular music.
Yes.
And gospel music of the Lord.
Yeah.
So you see that conflict even in Sammy, which at the time, blues was a huge thing at the time. And his dad is like, this music is for sinners. It's the devil's music. You see what the music makes people do. Put the guitar down.
Yeah.
And in that, we keep getting like quick flashes of what the hell happened to Sammy.
What the hell happened at the juke
it's like
joint?
very jarring. And you're like, okay, we know we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And then we rewind to the beginning of the start of yesterday. Okay, what the hell happened yesterday?
Yeah.
And then we kind of get into the story. We meet Stack. We meet Smoke. They brothers very much do the twin thing.
Yeah, you know,
can we talk about the twin thing? Because
absolutely. And it also feels like a trope of horror movies, the doubling. The doubling, the mirroring. So yeah, Michael B. Jordan plays Stack and Smoke. So hot. I love.
He is a beautiful man.
He really is, you know.
He
but
is.
in his acting here, I love these characters.
Yes.
I love Stack so much, and I also love Smoke so much.
Yeah.
In the sense that, you know, with twins, there's always the one that's a minute older.
Yes.
But there's the sense
like
that
the older sibling thing.
there's a sense that Smoke is the older brother. Stack
he's
is just
100% his older brother vibes.
Absolutely.
And he even says, also they use some foreshadowing throughout the film. And Smoke says to him, like, you never watch your back.
Yes, please protect this guy because he has a tendency
to not
he
watch
asks
his back.
Sammy,
Yes.
please watch his back because when they now are trying to get the juke joint together, pulling together the instruments and the infrastructure, now they have to go into the town and get this going, you know. And I love how they're moving into like an old territory where they are famous. They're famous.
They're well known in the neighborhood.
Yeah, they really are. They're known
Small
to make
community.
things happen, you know.
Yeah, everybody is like, oh, you guys are back. But I also like, hey, that there's a it's such an interesting story about women. I feel like
absolutely.
But like even how he teaches that young girl how to negotiate.
Right.
Where he's like, sit in my car.
Numbers talk.
Yes.
Numbers have a conversation.
So I'm going to teach you how to negotiate.
Yes.
Don't just say yes.
Yeah. Don't just take the first price you
let's
get,
have a conversation about
love that.
I like that.
Love that so much. I love that so much. And also that in the sense that you choose this girl to protect, to embody a powerful position as a security guard.
Yes.
That's not something you would get a girl to do, you know? But also in the way that you do it is like there's no you're not a big buff body. You just have a strategy. You just do the hooter and I'm gonna come in and then you know, and then that happens and then
someone gets shot in the ass.
Someone gets shot in the ass, you know. And Smoke, if there's one thing about Smoke, he will shoot. He will shoot a gun.
Shoot first, ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions later. Hey?
Yeah, so Grace and her husband, owning the Chinese shop.
Yes. And their daughter, who seems...
and their daughter as well. So I really
to have
love...
issues.
Yeah, so she is very tense.
Yeah, she is.
But what I love that they showed... So
it.
I was surprised by I was pleasantly surprised by the inclusion of Asian Americans because I feel like in period pieces,
and Native
it's
Americans,
always black and white. We never see Native Americans. We never see Asian Americans. We never see anything else but like
anything else.
Racism, black and white.
Racism.
Colors not allowed. Blah, blah, blah. So it was nice to see a lot of nuance in that side of the story
community.
That like, hey, as the Asian Americans, they can go to the black side of the neighborhood and the white side of the neighborhood. They have shops on both sides.
They do.
The kid can run from dad's shop to mom's shop
on the
to
other
ask
side.
her and be like, hey, they need help making a sign.
Yeah.
And then...
And I think, I just want to add quickly onto that is that it's so important to reflect the fact that we have grown up around one another. Like, there's the famous Asian shops everywhere you go. Like, Asian people have always had businesses where it's like food
China.
So just including them is just so honest.
Yes,
it's real. It's
because
like,
as much as we say there's my friend shops,
exactly, bruh.
In South Africa and Chile over there.
Listen, loved that.
So it was nice.
Yeah.
And
then Grace does the marketing,
does the sign. So Grace, her penmanship, her paint.
I love her as well.
I watched quite a few videos on what Asian Americans had to say because I was quite interested in like their take on it.
Yeah.
And all the messaging. So a lot of them were like, he got a lot of things right, but small details. So apparently, the paint that she uses. So there's a comment about how there was only red paint left.
Yes, there was red paint.
They said red paint is an omen.
Yeah,
so like
they did
making signs.
That.
Yeah,
so all I have is red.
Like, yes,
and they had to negotiate down.
Yes, down because all she had was red.
Yes.
So they were like in their culture. Writing signs in red is a bad omen. So even like the cultural foreshadowing and in different points, I love that the Native Americans came in to be like,
absolutely,
they were there for one scene.
They were just there for one scene, one powerful scene.
And they were like, hey, so something weird is going on. Don't know if you guys have seen some guy who literally Remick fell from the sky. He literally fell from the sky.
Yeah, he literally fell from the sky.
It felt like he fell from the sky.
And please, he's my favorite villain. That guy, what's his name? Jeremy.
Yes,
Remnick.
It's
Jeremy O'Connell or whatever.
Yes, Jack O'Connell.
Yes. Oh I love him. I love him so much.
Dynamic.
Like so dynamic, so sarcastic, so wicked.
He was a little bit funny too.
Exactly. That's what I love about him. He was like he has this kind of this like it's almost like when someone laughs at something that is tragic, like he's just got that humor from down under, like it's like, but he falls out of
Irish.
And I love using those references, like the Asian references, but in leaning into like the darkness of our superstitions, like there's so much superstition darkness
in that movie,
that it's like because even Remick coming into the Ku Klux, to the couple, or a Ku Klux Klan,
they have the hats, they part of the KKK.
they are and like where does he even emerge out of?
So I think the Native Americans,
oh yes, because
I'm forgetting the name of the specific clan, but I think they were chasing him.
Yes.
And he was running. And you wanted to come in that dark house because of the sun, because he was being burned by the sun.
Yes, I see. Because he is a vampire in between.
So he needed somewhere dark to hide during the day.
Oh, and what a scam artist.
It's interesting because he scammed them. And you could see Joan, the wife, was kind of like, I don't know about this guy. Like something feels weird. But her husband was also like, no, it'll be fun. And you could tell, I mean, even her and her husband situation felt a little bit abusive, if you ask me. But
I mean,
even the Native American guy saw the KKK hats and he was like, you know what?
I'll just pray for you.
I tried to warn you guys.
I'll just send you off with the Lord.
Yeah. And then he even says, and then the dude is like, we have to go. Yeah. The sun is setting. Yeah. Because we know what happens at the nighttime.
Yeah.
We need to leave immediately. Yeah. So he's kind of like, hey, I did my due diligence. I gave you a heads up.
I did my due diligence.
You want to hide this dude? That's on you. You guys are also racist, so
moments later,
cool.
Moments
and then
later,
they disappear.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the end of it.
He bites them, he bites the husband.
Yeah.
And then
by the time Joan goes to check on the
it's
husband,
too late. It's too late.
It's finished.
And I just love a horror in that, like the silence, like how she calls out for her husband and calls out and calls out.
And she's like, hello. And as an audience, you're sitting there like, oh no, they bit him, didn't they?
Oh, and Remick is sitting there like, oh, it's done. Like, there they are. And it's like the bloody neck and the bite, the clear marks of the bite.
Yeah.
And then he co-opts them into his his journey then to the other side.
Yeah. So he's basically the master vampire.
He really is the master vampire. He really is.
And then we go back to the setup of the juke joint.
Yeah.
And
they buy this juke joint from
racist white guy.
Yeah.
There's an agreement that they make.
Yeah.
That we're giving you the money.
Don't ever come back here.
Don't come back here. No one is allowed to step on this land.
Yeah.
This is our land now.
But it feels like, because in the end, they come back. So I wonder if they knew that this would happen.
So I think they did, and they did. The end is just... So for me, I think what it showed is that they were going to die either way.
Yeah.
Because those white people came back and they were going to kill them. So first of all, the fact that juke joint was an old slaughterhouse, there was blood in the floors. Many people had died already there.
Yeah.
So... Just the context of like, this is a place that will lure vampires because there's blood in the floorboards. As much as they've tried to clean it up, this is what it is. But also, even though they did things the right way, no, not even quote unquote, the right way, they were still going to die the next day. Because I think the guy said at the end when they were coming back to kill them, he was like, opening day is closing day. And I was like, well, fuck me. That's terrible. Woo! So they had always planned to come back So I think the deal that they made felt like they said don't step on the land because they had a suspicion that they might come back. So it gives us grounds to kill you because we've technically bought the land and you're trespassing.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's why he could open fire and at the end.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you guys are trespassers, technically. But it was sad because it was like, damn, even if they didn't die at the night time, they were going to die in the morning.
Anyways, hey? But Sammy, please can we talk about Sammy and his gift? The blues boy. And Miles and innocent and like, he's excited to be with his cousins and going on this journey and driving the car. And he's like, absolutely, with my cousin and like, it's going to be fun. And they gave him the guitar and he's kind of like, oh my God. And they don't really know that he can sing like that. And then he plays that guitar in the car. Ooh, the voice that comes out of there. Child. Miles Caton, like I also looked him up. I looked him up. But he's like, he was in one of these competitions. Like he's not even known. But like, what a voice.
Beautiful voice.
What a... Ooh. Sir...
You would never think
get
you had
into
that kind
studio
of voice.
Immediately.
I'm so glad there's a soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what a voice. And it's almost like he is this like meek-ish character.
Yeah, he seems shy.
He seems shy, but the music brings him to life.
Yes.
And the music hoodooism of it.
Yes.
The fact that he sings and he brings the people back.
The closies back.
The closies and the future ones. Yeah. The coming ones.
That's
the coming
seed.
ones.
What is the song? Wait, I need the song.
I just love that part of the story. I'm like, yes,
that was
this
probably,
is it.
Yeah, that was like the midpoint of the
because music raises. Music raises the dead. Music raises them up, and they come in. And so he's got this particular gift to sing and it is actually a thing. And it also calls back to what his dad says is that lose these ways.
It's the devil's music.
He's not, it's like, I love taking spirituality serious in that sense that the dad, we've all have heard dads or, this church say, hey, don't go in there because things happen. Yes. But it's true.
But it is
There
true.
are powers to what you have and they attract evil.
And good.
Yeah. They attract the underworld. They attract the unmanifest.
Yes, because music is spiritual. Yes. So I like that they spoke to that as well.
Love that so much.
I love that even when we start in the beginning of the film, in the church, they're singing This Little Light of Mine, which again, and in the so much messaging because
so much.
Vampires don't flourished in the daytime. They
this
can't be
little
out in the
light, this
light.
little light, and it's just
They
a little
thrive
bit
in
of
the
light.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even the little things, all the humming in the background of Wade in the water, and then at the end, we're literally going through a baptism at the end. But like,
Ooh,
it's
wow,
such a that midpoint. I lied to you, and it's like all the different spiritual. You see the different eras of music. It's like
absolutely.
the hip hop, the b-boys, the jazz,
and the traditional,
even like
and
the
the
Asian
African,
symbolism, and the African,
the West African.
Like,
that popular social, that popular figure you see on social
yes,
media. That like
you
that's
see
that figure, that spiritual figure. That
everybody's
that,
figures,
yes,
which is nice from different
and the Asian
cultures.
as well.
Yes, and the gongs and the clash and like Ludwig. And I never know how to say his surname. Ludwig Göransson.
Yes,
who did the score?
Yeah, yes,
also worked with Ryan,
yes.
Ryan Coogler on Black Panther.
Yeah,
score and soundtrack as well. And like the way that he kept dropping in different almost eras of music in that sequence where they're all kind of dancing around and
we
like
have some twerking. We have
we have like a little bit of everything. We have like the Chinese dragon and like all of these different things. And
when they finally get the juke joint going and
going.
Because they then get the old man.
Daltassim. I do want to talk about Dalroy Lindo.
So much.
He's good in everything.
Bruh.
He's fantastic in everything. And he's a drunk musician, pianist.
Yeah, he's a classic,
very good pianist, but he's also
musician.
A drunk.
Yeah.
So they find him at the train station.
Yes.
Which we should... Stack finds him at the train station.
Yes, Stack finds him at the train station.
We have to talk about because that's also where we see Mary.
Yeah, that's where we see Mary. Mary.
Haley Steinfeld. Hey.
Yes.
She did a big one on that.
She did.
We meet Daltassim and we also meet Mary. And Daltassim is
harmonica, but he's also
it's like the harmonica. He can do the piano. He's like a multi-instrumentalist, and they know they need him for the juke joint because he will attract a crowd. He's well respected as a musician. People will come to see him. They bribe him with Irish beer, this imported good shit Irish beer that he ain't never tasted. And he's like, ooh,
I love that part where they open, because you know when you
like
open the beer and
the sound,
nice and
he was like,
you're like,
wait,
what do you got there?
Wait a minute.
What do you have there?
Yeah. And then we get into the love story, which the duality was really interesting as well. So Stack and Mary, they see each other at the train station.
And just Mary as well from...
Sammy is like, this lady's looking, like she keeps staring at you. And he's like, don't look over there. Which I feel like Stack was... Okay, so... He was mean to her. However, so the thing with Mary, they grew up together.
Yeah. They have a history.
So Stack and Smoke's mom died. It seems like during childbirth.
Yeah.
But Mary's parents helped raise them, so they all grew up together.
Yeah, they did. And her mom recently died.
Yes, so she's and they didn't come to the funeral, and she's very upset about that. Because my mom also raised you guys, so she's shocked to see them after 7 years. You didn't even come to the funeral. Like, what's wrong with you? This, that, and the third. So Mary also, again, the biblical name.
Yes, Mary, absolutely.
The virginity, the chastity.
The chastity and the fact that she's mixed is such an interesting thing to like a territory to like unpack.
She passes.
She passes, and they use it with the vampires as well.
Yes.
The fact that she's
so I think she said her grandfather was colored or married a color. Yeah,
that question
she's like
constantly comes up for her. What are you? And even asks,
and she
like,
and she's always so offended because it's like, you're white, but are you though?
Yeah.
So you could tell that it irritates her. But at the time in the 30s, interracial relationships were not allowed.
Yeah, they weren't allowed.
So you can tell that for Stack, he was like, look, you're married. I made sure you married a good dude.
White man.
White man, he'll treat you well.
Yeah. She's
as much as we want to do this. She's like, I want to be black. I want to be black. And he's like, as much as we want to do this, we can't do this.
Yeah, we can't.
I will get killed for this.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, and back then people were killed for doing a hell of a lot less.
Especially black men with white women.
Yes.
They were.
It was people got lynched for that.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he was just like, I don't even want to entertain this.
But there's such a love story there. Love-hate. A love-hate love story there. And she was like, you weren't
saying that and it gets so
Yeah, they talk about how... I do want to mention
and even Sammy's like...
Yeah.
Hey?
Because there is that moment in the van where they're coming back and Stack, he's just this he's this like sexy guy, it's his sex genre, and he talks about like cunnilingus, like, and how you do it and what you do with the tongue. And
because Mary made a comment
yes,
about
and
it,
then
yes.
Mary then made a comment, and then Sammy then like,
And he's like, hey,
took the
wait,
advice.
yeah, hey. But also,
Yeah.
did you realize that they cursed each other? The whole Stack and Mary being
they
like, see you in hell.
did.
I'll save you a seat. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
they did.
guys,
Everything
power of the tongue.
Yeah.
Because I'll save you a seat in hell.
Now we're both there together. But it was just perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah. So then fast forward, Mary finds out about the juke joint, and she wants to be.
Everyone wants to.
Everybody now wants to go
because it's like a thing.
But again, for her, it's like, girl, you can come in, but also you're a danger because you're a passing, which I know is very complicated, very nuanced as well.
Yeah.
Just the idea of passing in different spaces.
In different spaces.
It's very contentious.
Well. Race, gender, it's an interesting
thing.
Yeah.
So eventually we see them hustle, they open the juke joint.
They do.
And people are dressed up, dressed to the nines. People are coming in.
Absolutely.
The music is going.
Yeah.
Sammy's playing.
We
also see Pearline, who's also meet her at the train station.
Yeah, we do. Where she connects with Sammy.
Yeah, she's like, I'm married, and he's like, happily.
Yeah,
Sammy.
Listen, I know Sam's music just is
preacher boy.
But I do want to talk about Smoke and Annie. Played by the amazing Wumi. She's beautiful and gorgeous, and she's everything.
So beautiful.
But their relationship, they also
such a contrast.
So
he goes back home.
Yes, he does go back to her. They've actually lost a baby, and there's that like. You could feel the grief in that, and just to have the juxtaposition of this high flying. Relationship that's like in the fast lane, and this like really down ass grounded relationship, of these two. And I love that fact that she's a quote unquote real woman. Like she's just, and he adores her.
He does adore her. And even when he tries to be cool, she's like, your body didn't forget
Tell me why you're here. Give me the words as to why you're here. Don't tell me about the juke joint. Why are you here? Tell me you love
me. What are you here for?
And he also co-opts her. Because she is a hoodie specialist.
But she is also a damn good cook.
She is. And she's a potionist. She's a witch. She's a witch. Yeah.
So basically, and I love that whether it's sangomas, whether it's we all have a kind of link to ancestral spirits and like just the practice
channeling
of it. Like channeling ancestors and just the practice, how the healing nature,
the little ratas, the little concoctions.
Because she even gave him the necklace, and she was like, "I'm glad you still the necklace is still working."
And it does protect him.
It protects him and Stack.
Yeah, it does.
That's why neither of them died because they're always together. So it's like, they were both protected by this necklace. And I like that we learn more about hoodoo because more often than not, we learn about voodoo.
Yes.
Which voodoo is the good magic, the good witchcraft.
It's the doctoring. It's the good medicine.
Yeah, because you see even the kids going and she gives people, like we even meet her and she's helping people and she's giving people
things. It is her work. It's what she does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we have that element. And Annie felt like honestly in the film, like the very Hermione Granger-esque, like the character where it's like, everybody would be dead if it wasn't for Annie.
Yeah. Because I know, I read what's
she's
going
very
on.
attuned.
Yeah, she is attuned and she understands. She understands about what the vampire, how they, the fact that you need garlic and the fact that and the fact that, and she senses, towards the end
some
when
weird thing is happening.
When the guy, they get to do the door, to mark the door, cornbread.
What a stressful time. That's where everything we start accelerating. So on the one hand, Mary's trying to get with Stack. On the other hand, Preacher Boy is there with Pearline in the back room.
At the juke joint.
And now there's drama. Now the white people want to come inside.
Yeah, now the white people are trying to come inside.
With Joan. And they sing their little ditty.
Their
and
little
like,
folk tale, their little Irish pop.
We want to enjoy.
Yeah, and I love how he's like, is it because of us white people now get to be like, is it because of this, huh?
I loved him. He was
my
like,
favorite villain ever.
And even when he walks away and he's like, I mean, you can change your mind.
We're just going to take our time.
Change your mind. We'll just wait. We'll slowly walk away. There's time to change your mind.
And then they find the corner.
And even the debates of like, should the white people be let in or should they not? Which translates, should they be invited to the cookout or should they not?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, as Black people, we will assume allyship.
Yeah.
When it's
people
not there.
are easy to be.
We're so easy to let people
People are
in.
hard.
And sometimes it's like, Ubuntu is great, but
Ubuntu is-
sometimes it can be to our
yeah,
detriment.
yeah.
So you see it play out in real time that like,
Should we,
again,
shouldn't we, should we,
Stack
shouldn't
just
we?
being like, oh, it'll be fine. And everyone is like, you can be really dumb, bro.
Stacking the short-sightedness. Hey,
So short-sighted.
Yeah, you know.
And for him, it was more about money. He was
Money,
like, no, they have
money.
money. They have
Yeah,
the gold coins.
yeah.
There are people in here who aren't even paying.
That's how
and
Mary
then even the whole
convinces
thing
him.
of like,
Mary ruins
hey,
it. Mary ruins the whole
hey,
thing.
yeah, but even the thing about like, you want to force people people are picking cotton. They don't have the
Yeah,
most money.
yeah.
People, we don't want to be like our oppressors. Like sometimes it's not about the money because they have
Oh,
that
you mean
little
when
tip.
smoke?
Yeah,
when smoke
where
is like,
he's
no,
like, oh,
people need to
aren't
pay for their
yeah,
drinks.
and
Like,
he's
no.
Yeah, and it's a thing of like,
Bruh, relax,
come on,
relax.
come
People
on,
don't
just
have that
relax,
money.
come
You know the
on.
situation.
People are
Hey?
picking
With
cotton.
us, hey? We don't have money. Just give us
Like,
a drink.
Do you know what I
Hey?
mean? So you can see even that
Yeah.
pressure. And then Mary says, I'll fix it. And again, white women and using their femininity,
Their chasteness. That
overestimating
virginal aura
yes,
around white
which
women.
they have, but how they can overestimate how that shit can play out.
Yeah.
Because even how she says, no, they'll tell me things they won't tell you.
Yeah.
And then she goes and gets
And
bit.
then she goes and
then all hell breaks
none
loose.
of that is a power. She doesn't have any power. She doesn't have any power.
My girl,
because
like,
she goes there and she tries
Mary.
and they're like, you know what, babes, and they even say to her kinfolk, they're like, what are you even doing here?
Why are you here?
Yeah,
Why are you allowed in?
Yeah, why are you allowed?
Because they're trying to figure
Yeah.
out, like, what she got that we don't got?
Yeah,
What is it?
And Remick is like, bite,
And then
come through, let's bite you.
we're biting. What was interesting to me is that she chose to bite Stack first
Absolutely.
because she was like, no, you said we're going to see each other in hell.
Yeah. Oof.
I want to be with you for eternal life.
Yeah.
And this is the
Because
only
she was
way.
obsessed with him.
Yeah.
She was
a little bit
yeah, she
obsessed
was
with him. And it felt like in her mind, she was like, this is the way we're going to be together forever.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
I
bite you
have to
first.
go to that because in the end, when everyone now starts, there's this now move towards this like migration towards like vampire people and like people who
and
aren't
then
like, and it's now the
ones who are
numbers are
stuck in the house.
outweighing. Yeah, the numbers are outweighing, and it's
What a
like, oh my
stressful
gosh,
time.
And then there's this sense
Cornbread!
because now Stack is also. That was a sad moment, because Smoke is,
It's just, it's
Because
like,
Smoke
it's my
adores
brother.
his little brother.
I can't. And then also Cornbread at the door. So, he goes to use the bathroom outside.
forever and ever
Not inside. And he goes and gets bit
too.
And then there's the realization that like, they're vampires here.
Yeah.
And this is bad.
And you were speaking about the vampire code and what I didn't like. That's a new one to absorb people's consciousnesses, like to take people and get into their bodies and take
and
their
be in their
histories
brain.
and present as them. You know what I mean? Just like completely abduct
with
them.
Grace and her husband.
Yes, with Grace and her husband as
Tell
well.
her,
She was like, oh my gosh.
He was busy speaking the language.
Yes.
That was crazy.
You
That tipped her over the edge.
He was like, Remick was like, see, the thing that we do is that we don't just bite. We take the whole thing. We download the whole data, the history. We are this person now. We know your secrets. We know your things. We know
your
you have a
pillow
child.
talk,
Yeah.
even.
We know all of it. We know that you have a child and we're going to
intimate
get him.
detail.
We're going to get her. And now, but
Grace,
Yes.
you can feel the panic. You can
Yeah,
feel she's like,
like,
this man
"No!"
even knows our pillow talk.
Yo,
He's saying
bruh.
some nasty ass shit to me right now.
And she loses it.
And
hey?
she's kind of like in a push and pull. And it's interesting because now Annie's like, everybody eat the garlic. And Pearline being like, I don't like the taste of garlic. It's like, my babes, do you want to die
Stack
or not?
is like,
Do you
want
wanna
to
die or not?
Because I have a gun. Like,
Come on, like, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake
Oh, but
Also,
the
you're cheating on your husband.
But is the husband even there? Well, like, we never really.
No, we never really.
Yeah.
He's not on.
But
on
the
scene.
other musician, what's his name? Delta. I love his garlic eating situation where he's like, because garlic, a whole garlic, guys. Let's just be honest. Yakamu. He's like, and And he's
you're
like,
not
wait,
sure for a second, you're like, is
people are like,
did they
tell us
turn
what's
him?
going on.
Like-
And he's like, no, wait, I've had a lot to drink. All right.
The ice is going to make
And
me throw
this
up.
is,
I will
you
throw
know,
up.
But then they figure out that they're not.
Okay. You need to invite them in.
Yeah.
So that's where we play with the other thing that like cornbread, you've been in and out of here the whole day. And now you're asking to come in.
What's
this
with
is
the
weird.
consent
And then they're
chat?
like, no, he's a vampire.
he's
and
a
now they're like,
vampire.
okay, so the few of us that are left in here, there are more of them out there getting chowed down.
Oof, and when,
a lot of them are getting chowed down. And now
and going
it's awkward.
over to the other side.
And now there's a negotiation of like, do we go outside? Do we stay inside? Like, how do we navigate what happens next? Like, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah, and
it's
like,
a little bit tricky because you can tell they're like, ish, if we do we go, and then Grace just ruins it, and she's like, "Come in, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
And
no,
Remick
at that
is
point
like,
okay,
"Ow!"
well, you're letting us in, and
and they were like river dancing outside.
you know, they were just having a
that
good
little,
time.
What is
like,
that Irish song? What is it?
The ditty,
Rocky Road to Dublin.
And that was a beautiful scene. I also really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the Irish
that was
part
fun.
of it. It was really fun.
They were dancing by.
But it's like when Stack now joins them with Mary and all of them, they're all happy. They're all happy, and now Stack is, Stack is now having to convince Smoke to say, hey, listen, like it's really great on the side, and also the fact that they don't get to really cross over. They're just like in this purgatory. They're not living, they're not dead. And it's they're just, but it's also like, why don't you just come here? We can have everything. And also,
and we can be together.
We can be together. I mean, that is a chat, like everyone is just like, consider this, die with me.
Because Grace makes all hell break loose. Now they have to negotiate killing their loved. They have to use the wooden stakes and the wooden bullets to kill everybody now.
Yeah.
Kill or be killed.
They don't die.
And
they don't die via bullets. Yeah.
They're like
back. Zombies or whatever,
they regenerate.
Yeah, they do.
So they don't properly die. So it's just like a losing battle. Grace gets burnt alive.
Against
like
the time,
people
of course,
are running,
we're waiting
they're
for the sun. We constantly see the sun
we're
coming up,
we're like chasing daylight, and it's like, what's gonna happen? And then we get to Sammy. Because Remick is really trying to...
Sammy.
This is all about Sammy.
Really.
Sammy's at the center of the story, and Remick is trying to bite him and convert him because Sammy's gifts help him see his ancestors, his Irish ancestors on the other side. And you can tell, so he's been alive, I think they said 200 years or something. And he misses home, he misses his family.
Yeah.
He wants some connection to the other side. And Sammy's music opens up the portal, I guess.
Really does.
For him to be able to experience that. So... they're tussling, they get into the water.
Yeah.
And then the baptism in the water.
The baptism.
And how he keeps dunking Sam in the water. Yeah. How they both say the Our Father together.
Yeah, they're like, we also have
and
a
he's
prayer.
like, oh yeah, they said this to us.
Don't think the evil don't pray as well.
They
also
said
have
this to
prayers
us.
and rituals that we do.
Before they took us from our homes, they
so
said this prayer to us
we also
too.
can do it too as well.
Yeah, which is also such a nod to like, the Bible bashing and how people used the word to convert people. And
it's like you can use the word
for bad
and good.
For bad.
Good and evil exists alongside.
Together. Because a lot of what Remick was saying, what I love about him as a villain is that a lot of what he was saying wasn't wrong.
It wasn't.
Because it's like, it was wrong that people use the word to like to steal your land and to like remove you from your home and put you on ships. Like it's bad.
And I want to go into this I feel a lot of Jordan Peele themes around like positioning whiteness as an evil, as an antagonistic force, as like this terrifying evil, because
we see it with Get Out.
Yeah, we do see it with Get Out. And we see it a lot with him, like, and we see it here as well, this like whiteness equating evil, it's like an interesting
thing, especially because like vampires feel like or can be parasites. They literally suck the life out of you.
That's what it is.
Which is an interesting thing to play with.
The parasitic nature of whiteness.
Yeah, and to make Remick, even the choice to make him Irish, because it's like the Irish within white people were oppressed also.
Yes, they were.
But
they
were heavily
Yeah.
oppressed historically, and like you see that like sometimes people who were oppressed can become oppressors.
Yeah.
Shall
we rate
Let's
this
rate
wonderful
it. Let's
show?
rate it. There's so much to say. But
Stereotypes. Do black women pander to even the slightest stereotypes? I mean, gosh, like, and I mean, the only real black woman characters, Annie.
Yeah, because Pauline.
You know. And she's a powerful character. Annie is a great character, and I love how they lean into black woman femininity, the power that they have spiritually as well, like this mothering, this, you know, and this nurturing, but also this divine seeing, you know. So, but no stereotypes.
Yeah, because I do
you might
so
wanna,
it was interesting, the idea of Annie even coming off, as you said, like mother figure, almost like a protector.
Yeah.
But I like how they
and she has superpowers, you know,
played with the they made it known that she was the smartest in the room.
Yeah.
Like that was known throughout the film.
Which
that like everybody needs to listen to Annie.
Yeah.
And even the choices that they gave her room to make in like, I don't want to turn into a vampire. When she told Smoke, I need you to kill me.
Yeah, I need you because I
have people waiting for me on the other side.
Yeah,
I don't want to be part of this purgatory in between thing that vampires have.
No, that's not my
I don't want
that's
this.
not my path.
And even at the end where she says to him like, oh, Elijah, put the smoke down. I was like,
hear his name for the first time.
Yeah, and the double entendre is like, put the literal cigarette down, but also drop the character of Smoke. Like it's not,
and only she
only she could say that to him. Just like, just put it down.
Intimacy between them was so strong. Great. I loved it so much.
And you could, again, the tension, the grief in him being like, why didn't you save our baby? If you could, you know, and like you
why can't you save my brother?
Why can't you save my brother?
Like, we
and
can't
she's
just
like,
use
that's
it.
Not how magic works. That's not how this works.
Yeah, and it's not magic per se.
Yes.
You know,
we can't just
it's
pick,
understanding,
we're not God.
It's attunement.
Yes, we're not, because you made it clear that like, I'm not God.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd want to save our child, but like, that's not how this works.
It's not how this works.
So I like that they gave her a lot of power.
Yeah,
and she
they
was
did.
Very grounded. And she was a bad. Annie was a fucking badass.
She was. Hey, she corralled everyone, and she had a plan, and she was like, "This is what we're gonna do." You know, for the vampires, like she really led people through that transition, like through like towards the end, and I loved how she in the end she was like, "I have my baby waiting on the other side, and you kill me," and Smoke kills. Well,
like
finishes her
and
off.
He's so sad.
So sad, you know,
so sad.
because she even in that after being bit, she's like, you promised me, you would
because he hesitates. He's like
I can't.
But like,
please finish the job off.
Yes, you see his conflict in that, and also not being able to kill his brother.
Yeah.
But what I do like about femininity, which I guess relates to like the full getting to experience full emotion.
Yeah,
I love that women got to experience pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.
There was such a focus on like a woman's pleasure in sex, to be honest. And all of the women,
all of it, the sensual. That's true.
Like
even Pauline, when she got on stage and sang and got people singing, you know, like.
And even with Sammy going down on her, it was about her pleasure.
It was about her pleasure.
Women's pleasure was centered in the film in a way that you don't see often. And like even the scene with Annie and Smoke, the focus was on her. Like it wasn't, you didn't feel the heaviness of the male gaze. It was about her. It was always about the woman.
Very much.
Which was different.
I loved that. I really loved that. And there was a moment when Pauline was singing, just channeling female power.
Yeah.
You know, she was singing and then on the other side, like there was the double happening, the parallel, the juxtaposition of Mary on the other side, like running around, doing her killing. Like she also, it's almost like she got more powerful after being bitten. She was like now running around, doing, and how she then got her man through the power of
femininity,
of the vagina. And you know, she was like, I'm gonna take my man the way I know best.
I'm gonna take him. Then I'm gonna take him.
You know, so there's a lot of channeling of that, like you know,
Yeah.
women's power,
Yeah.
you know. So no stereotypes there.
Yeah.
I would really wouldn't say. Relationships,
Yes.
is there at least one strong relationship between Black women?
Ooh.
I mean, wow, there's Grace as well, who's also just so
Grace.
powerful. Grace is also
Grace
just so
was
powerful, you
but
know?
I was also like, oh, Grace, you
as
could have went
women.
outside. Why did you invite the vampires?
And you know,
in?
she
Damn.
wanted to run. She wanted to
She
run.
did.
She's the one who told her husband, let's get out of here. Only
Which
for
also
it to,
I was like,
I know.
I don't know if you loyal, Grace.
Yeah.
Because she was like, we came to help with the side. We didn't come for any of this mess.
Yeah. So, and then she got,
But by then it's too late. They've already turned her
you know.
husband. So
But there aren't relationships like that. It's not like that.
Yeah.
There aren't female relationships
Yeah.
like that. They aren't.
you more saw the brotherhood. Or like
Yes, that was
the strong male relationship.
Yes, and that we
Yeah.
must comment on. That was
Yeah, very,
powerful
very
because you
good.
you then get to see like these different types of masculinities, like with Sammy, with Stack, with Smoke,
Even with Delta.
with Delta as well.
Yeah, and him sacrificing.
Like,
Yeah, so you even see like
yes. And Delta is
sacrifice
also always like, listen, you're not going
Yes.
to take Sammy.
and protecting.
know?
Yeah, and like protecting one another and having one another's backs.
Yeah, that was
I
dope.
thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
Like really nice show of like
Yeah.
Black masculinity
Yeah.
and brotherhood.
and the intimate and brotherhood.
yeah,
yes,
like
that
it was nice
softness.
because even the way that
There
they
was a
looked after
softness.
Sammy, like how everyone looked after
yes,
Sammy. Do you know what I mean?
and how
Yeah.
Sammy then looked after Stack, and how Stack and
Yes.
Smoke would always look after each other in their ways, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then the bodies, how are different types of Black bodies represented? I mean, I think, wow.
They did well in this.
Yeah, because Michael B. Jordan, guys. Just,
You thirsty?
I mean,
We don't blame
I
you.
am. Like, wow,
Yeah.
great. He's just such a great body. But also Wunmi as well as Annie, and
beautiful.
Mary as well. Like just
Yeah.
that mixed character,
Yeah.
that mixed figure
And
as
we
well.
got many different kinds of skin tones. many different-
Yes.
Oh my God. Also that scene in the juke joint where they redid the Marvin Gaye album cover. I'm forgetting the artist's name, but like there were so many art nods as well. You know that Marvin Gaye I Want You
references.
album where they
Yes,
dancing in the
yes.
juke joint?
True,
They recreated
did,
that
they did,
in the
they
scene.
did,
I was
they
like,
did, they did.
hey.
Oh, such a lovely art.
Yes, yeah. So like I
Ah.
love the different kinds of Black bodies
Yeah,
that we saw,
yeah.
the kind of customers, the people who were there
Yeah,
just having a
yeah,
good time.
Yeah.
Even Cornbread being, like used for his stature.
Yes, for his stature.
And then he was there busy river dancing. Like you saw a lot of movement
and
in the body.
dancing,
Joy, music,
moving, and
and
how it is that you have these Black people who don't have much, but it's like music and joy that
will always be
will
relief.
always be available and relief. You know,
Yeah, which is still true today.
Yeah,
which is
it
pretty
really
cool.
is. Yeah, music belongs to us. You
Yeah,
know?
which I like that they showed that in the
Yes,
film as well. That like
absolutely.
everything is derivative from Black music.
Yeah. Diverse Blacks. Where are the Africans and the queers? No.
Ooh,
No. We did not see any Africans. I mean, we saw African cosmology,
in
like
the- in the-
influences in the spirit.
And in that dance
sense,
sequence
yes.
as well.
So there's
Yeah.
like nods. There's definitely
Yeah.
nods. Range of humanity and
Ah,
complexity. Just,
I
well,
mean, in
we'll
the
call it a
present
horror,
life
please,
and the
a
afterlife.
thriller. Ooh, everything,
that
like just the
final
spectrum of
scene.
like, the themes and the subjects. I'm just
Yes.
like, yo,
Oh my goodness, that final scene where we fast forward to today. And
Sammy's grown up, and he calls
And then
Stack and Mary back.
and Mary come to
you know,
the
with
back.
his music.
And he plays that song that he played in the beginning of the movie. And that line,
And he's like,
that line
how?
that he says, and then he explains that like Smoke said that I can't kill you. Like that was the one thing
brotherhood
he asked for.
exists.
That's the one thing he
The
said, we need
brotherhood
to leave you
lives.
alone
The brotherhood
and
moves
keep you
on.
alive.
Hey?
And you see he recreated the guitar.
Yes.
And even where he says
yes.
like, before things got bad, that might have been one of the best days of my entire life. And you're kind of like,
Yes, absolutely.
then you get all
It
the
really was so
flashbacks of them
great.
setting up the
Yeah.
juke joint, and you're
Yeah.
like, it really
It
did
was a
start
pinnacle.
great, hey?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
everything went
it's
to
like
kak.
that-
It
that
was
also
a
contrast
really
of-
good day.
That contrast of good and bad as
Yes.
well, like peak and absolute low.
And like, that was the last time I saw the sun, and that was the last time I saw my brother. I was like,
Yeah. All of it. Like, we can
Yeah.
speak all day about this. And I'm giving it
Honestly.
fries. I'm giving it fries.
I'm giving it
Yeah.
fries. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan together
Yeah.
are so fire. Like, also Ryan
Yes.
Coogler, man. wow, what an icon and a legend. Like,
what a director. From Fruitvale Station to Black Panther to now.
What a
like,
storyteller.
Yeah.
And he
beautiful.
just keeps getting better. Like, he's just such a consummate creative. Like, he's never going to rest on his laurels. He's always learning and doing his research and collaborating.
So
like,
there's so much too. There was so much meat in the film.
So much texture.
Yes, in different kinds of ways for so many different reasons. It was amazing.
We've run out of time. But
tell us what you thought of Senna.
Tell us what you thought.
Ryan,
like, wow.
And even him using his wife as a producer, Zinzi Coogler being a producer, the women being editors and like AD,
right?
just women on the team.
Absolutely.
You could feel the difference.
Absolutely. You can. You can.
Yes.
But yeah. Fries.
Intersectional excellence. Bye. Until next time.